Right, the language arts skills for this week are right here, and we're going to go over some of these. Okay, so you are going to be reading poetry this week, and let me get to the right poetry. Okay, so we're going to go over some types of poetry. So some poetry that we have, or actually, we'll go over poetry in a minute. We were talking about point of view. So remember, a point of view often shows a narrator's thoughts um, and what they think about a certain topic. So remember, your point of view of something is something you think about. So you're going to find details that show the point of view. You're going to pick a poem, one of the poems that you is assigned, and you're going to write the details here. But to write the point of view, why you think the author wrote that poem, and you'll need to write details. So remember, the point of view is really kind of the what the author opinion is. So what's your opinion? Your opinion what you think the why the author wrote it. The next skill that you will be working on rhyme, alliterations, free verse. Those are all types of poems. So poems are kind of fun to read, a little bit different. And one of them is called a limerick. It's a short, funny poem that rhymes. Okay. Each stanza has 5 lines. The first, second, and fifth lines rhyme. The third and fourth lines rhyme. So it has a pattern. That's what a limerick is. Now, free verse does not always rhyme. Can have as many number of lines and stanzas. So if we look at a poem like here, this has 5 lines, and you can see here that the first, second, and fifth line rhyme, ice, mice, and nice, and then the third and fourth, feet and heat. Those rhyme. So that would be a limerick. And then they all, let's see, yeah, so this is a stanza, this is a stanza. So these are all limericks. If when you go to read those, you'll see that. Now, a free verse would not rhyme. So it would be like uh, this, empanada day definitely would not rhyme. One bite of abuelitas empanadas, and my mouth purrs like a cat. Teach me, I beg, and bounce on my feet. Teach me to make this magical treat. So these two rhyme, and learn and turn, those rhyme. So actually, this is a rhyming poem here, but a free verse, it would be like a poem, but would not rhyme. So let's see, we'll have to see if there's a poem. There's some other poems that you'll be reading this week that are free verse and don't rhyme. I think my favorites are probably limericks because all of the lines rhyme, or rhyming poems. I like those the best. Some people don't might like stories. I mean, there are some poems that are free verse that are pretty good, but you know, that would be your point of view. That would be my point of view, is that I like limericks and rhyming poems better. So you have to read these and figure out what their point of view is. Now, an alliteration is poets use alliteration and rhyme to make descriptions fun to read and poems sound musical. Now, an alliteration would be repeated letters. So let's see if I can get this a little bit bigger. All right, so this isn't a very good example of an alliteration. The first line, the words crawled and creature start with the same sound, cur, C-R. Let's see. Well, knee and P rhyme, that would be rhyming, but not an alliteration. So an alliteration just has same sound. So like the bumbling baby bee, those all starts with B. crawled into the baby's ear or something. So it'd be letters just to have the same sound. So poets will use alliteration, they'll use rhyme, they'll use free verse, they'll use limericks. There's a lot of different types of poems, and you can figure out for yourself what your point of view is on a poem, what your favorite type of poem is. The next thing you'll be working on is plural possessive. So let's look at some, we worked on this last week. So, okay, so we're going to look at plural possessive. Now, possessive means that it belongs to someone or to a group of things. And plural, remember, a plural is more than one and singular is one. So there are some rules when showing this. So we'll look here, the penguin's home is in Antarctica. It means it's plural because there's an apostrophe after the S. You have to, so it means that the home belongs to more than one penguin. And we show that by apostrophe. Now, if we wanted to do an apostrophe, if there's an apostrophe S here, it says the penguin's home is in, let's say, in Parker, Colorado. And it was only one, it would be apostrophe S. Apostrophe S comes before the S if you're talking about a singular, and after if you're talking about more than one. So it's S, you actually add an S apostrophe to if the word is not plural. So you have to first make it plural and then add an apostrophe. So there are some confusing directions about that. The tree's leaves are yellow. So they're saying the leaves are belonging to one tree, so it's an apostrophe S. If they're talking about more than one tree, we would first make it plural, trees, and then put an apostrophe afterwards. Let's take a look at some. That book's pages are wrinkled. I know that they're talking about the pages of one book because it's an apostrophe S. If it was a S apostrophe, I know they were talking about more than one book. The girl's ball went over the fence. Okay, so it's girls is plural. They're talking about more than one girl, and so since they're talking about more than one girl, we add the apostrophe after. So the ball belongs to all the girls. My jacket's button needs to be fixed. Talking about one, the buttons belong to one jacket, apostrophe S. Because jacket, it's one jacket. So to show the possession, it's apostrophe S. The horse's riders. We're talking about more than one horse because the riders belong to a bunch of horses. In order to show that, we first show horses is plural. Okay, so we have to first show it that it's plural, so horses, and then we add the apostrophe because we're talking about more than one. If you're talking about more than one, it has to be plural first. Sometimes a word is plural without an S, such as the word children. Children is plural. If you're talking about more than one child, then the children is plural. We already have the plural, so it would be apostrophe S. Children, apostrophe S. That shows that's more than one child. So we can't find our cat's toy. That means the toy belongs to one cat. The author's books, it's one author because it's an apostrophe S. The artist's paintings quickly sold out. The paintings belong to a bunch of artists because first they made it plural, artists, and then they added the apostrophe after. You first have to have, if you're talking about more than one, you have to have the plural first, okay, and then you add apostrophe S or S apostrophe. The teacher's copy machine never works. So first, all of the teachers, okay, so we made it plural, and then you add the apostrophe after. I'm going to go show you some odd words. Okay, so let's talk about, so let's look at the word. I'm going to type these in. Okay, so if I were to talk about like the um, uh, children's, let's say children's dogs. So children means it's more than one. So children already is plural without an S. Since children is already plural without an S, we add an apostrophe S, not an S apostrophe. The children's dogs. So the dogs belong to all the children. Let's say the women's gifts um, got got rained on when they were outside at the picnic. I don't know. The women's gifts. So women means there's more than one woman. Okay. So women is already plural without the apostrophe, so it's going to be women's gifts. The gifts belong to all the women. Now, you thought that if we were talking about more than one thing, it always has the apostrophe after. So if we say the tree's leaves, all the leaves belong to all the trees. There's more than one tree in the park. Um, so remember, tree is singular and trees, when I'm talking about more than one tree, I have to first make it plural first, and then I can add the apostrophe. So children is plural, and then I add the apostrophe S because children is already plural without the S. Or if I'm talking about one tree, I would put apostrophe S. The tree's leaves are beautiful. This is one tree. The trees belong to one tree. This means it's more than one tree because there's an S apostrophe. This is more than one woman. This is more than one child. So you just have to see if it's one, you have to have, it's usually apostrophe S when you're talking about one, something belonging to one thing. But when you're talking about more than one, it could be after or it could be before, like these words here. Okay, so let's you go ahead and work on your grammar pages this week. All right, that covers all your pretty much all your skills for the week. Happy learning, and let me know if you have any questions.